They told you that making your dreams come true is super hard, that you need special tricks, endless daydreaming, perfect words, and hours of trying to feel good. But what if I told you that creating your dream life is actually amazingly simple? So simple that almost everyone gets it wrong. You're living in a magical field right now. A field full of endless chances. A field that doesn't care how hard you try, but how well you match its energy. But most people fight for what they want. They try to force their life to change with willpower. They say words they don't really believe. They picture things they secretly think won't happen. They try to think happy thoughts while their body is scared, worried, and tight. And this is where everything breaks down. Because in this magical world, forcing things makes them harder. Let's make this beautifully simple. Creating your dreams isn't about getting what you want. It's about becoming the person who already has it. It's not about changing the world outside first. It's about becoming the right signal inside so that world comes to you. This magical field holds every chance, success and failure, having lots and having little, love and loneliness, health and sickness. All of it already exists like invisible waves. But here's the cool part. The wave doesn't become your real life until it meets someone watching. That's you. Where you look, what you think about, how you feel. These are the tools that shape reality. But most people are stuck in a circle. They're watching from fear. They're looking at what's missing. They're feeling like they don't have enough, while trying to get more. And in this magical language, this is just noise, not a clear message. You've been taught to chase what you want. But the real magic of creating dreams is to become the person who doesn't need to chase anymore. It's the person who remembers, I'm already connected to what I want. The field is waiting for my signal. My job isn't to push harder, it's to become clearer. So why don't people do this? Because simple feels scary. Because letting go feels wrong. Because stopping the chase feels like giving up. But here's the secret no one talks about. The moment you stop needing it so badly, the field can finally give it to you. Let me show you what I mean. Think about a time when something came to you easily. Maybe you met the perfect person by accident, got a chance you weren't even looking for, or had a great idea when you weren't trying. What's the same thing? You weren't grabbing, you weren't forcing, you were open, lined up, ready. That's this magic at work, whether you knew it or not. You see, this field doesn't care about your words. It reads your energy. You can say, I have lots of money, 1,000 times, but if your body is still scared, if your heart is still closed up in worry, if your mind is still used to struggle, the field will show that mess back to you. Not because it's mean, but because it's exact. So here's the big change. This magic starts when you stop thinking about getting and start thinking about being. You become the signal. You become the vibration. You let your feeling lead, not your trying. But that brings up a big question. What exactly does this magical field listen to? Is it just thoughts, feelings, beliefs, actions? And how do you line these up so they're not sending mixed messages? This is where most dream-making teachings fall apart. They focus on just one piece, usually thoughts or feelings, without fixing the deeper problems. They tell you to think positive without fixing the hurt stored in your body. They tell you to picture things without clearing the hidden blocks that trip you up. They tell you to say success words while your mind is still getting ready for failure. But this field listens to the whole signal, the complete, full-body signal. And that's why lining up isn't just a mind game. It's a full body, full system, full field change. In the next part of this journey, we're going to break down exactly how this magical field works, why watching matters, what wave falling really means, and how your hidden mind sends signals even when you don't know it. We're going to show the beautiful steps behind what seems like magic. And I'm going to show you why making dreams come true works best when you stop trying so hard. So here's my question for you. And I want you to sit with this as we get ready for the next part. Where in your life are you trying so hard that you've become the very block you're trying to break through? Ready to go deeper into this magic with me? Let's dive deeper into the mystery you've been dancing around without even knowing. This magical field is not listening to your wishes. It's listening to how lined up you are. At its heart, creating dreams is not about thoughts alone, or feelings alone, or even actions alone. It's about how these three line up into a clear signal that the field can read without confusion. Think of this magical field like a space translator. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions are lined up, the message is clear, the vibration is steady, and the field answers almost right away. But when you're thinking one thing, feeling another, and doing something totally different, the message gets mixed up. The field shows back not clearness, but chaos. This is where the watching effect comes in, a cornerstone of this science. At this magical level, tiny pieces exist in pure possibility, what we call a wave function. But when a watcher, you, looks at a certain possibility, that wave falls into a real event. Reality gets solid, choices become clear, the unseen becomes seen. But here's the catch. The watcher is not just your awake mind. The watcher is also your hidden mind. This means that even if you awake ly want lots of good things, if your hidden mind is set for staying alive, worry, or fear, the field picks up on that secret broadcast. Your hidden mind becomes the true watcher, making a timeline you didn't awake ly choose. That's why so many people feel stuck. They're lining up their surface mind, but ignoring the deep programs running underneath. And in this magical game, the hidden mind always wins. But it gets even more amazing. Scientists like Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton have shown that the heart has its own electric field, far stronger than the brain's. This heart field spreads out and works with the larger magical field around you. When your heart and brain are working together, you're sending out a powerful joined signal. When they're not in sync, the signal becomes weak and broken. This is why trying to create dreams from your mind alone so often fails. Without the feeling part, the felt sense of being lined up, the magical field has no clear signal to show back. And this is where most people miss the point. They want to think their way into change, when really, they must feel their way into being lined up. You can't just tell the field what you want. You have to become the vibration matched to it. That means tuning your body, your breath, your nervous system, your beliefs, your daily choices into harmony. It's not a one-time ritual. It's a living practice. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine you want to create love. You can write good words, make picture boards, imagine your perfect partner. But if deep down you're carrying wounds of not being good enough, if your nervous system is ready for being turned away, if your heart is protected and afraid to open, the magical field feels that tightness. It picks up the contradiction, and what you get back is more wanting, more looking, more almost but not quite connections. It's not that the universe is punishing you. It's that it's perfectly showing your main frequency. So what's the change? The change is into being lined up, into feeling whole now, into practicing the feelings of what you want before it shows up, into becoming the state of already having it so the field can make that timeline into form. You become the frequency first, and the form follows. Now, this might sound like a lot, but here's the simple, deep truth. The more you let go of controlling what happens, and the more you focus on managing your inside state, the faster this magic responds. This is why the title of this video says it's simple, yet nobody does it, because the human mind loves to make things complicated. We want 10 steps, 5 tricks, a promised formula. But this magic isn't a machine. It's a mirror. It's a dance partner. It's alive, responsive, smart, and it's waiting for you to meet it with a steady, full-body presence. So here's where I want to invite you into this practice. Take a deep breath right now. Notice how your body feels as you listen. Notice where you're holding tightness. Notice the stories running in the background. And just for a moment, soften. Let the grip get loose. Let the need to fix, force, and figure it all out dissolve. Feel what it's like to be okay right here, right now, without needing anything to change. This is where your power begins. Before we move on, I'd love to invite you into something that helps anchor this change. If you're feeling a spark of knowing, if something in you is lighting up right now, hit that subscribe button. Join this space, this talk, this community, and in the comments, drop one word, just one, that names the energy you want to be this week. Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's ease. Maybe it's joy. Whatever comes to you first, that's your signal. Share it. Name it. Let it be real. Because the moment you name it, you start to line up with it. Are you ready to explore why no one talks about this part of making dreams come true? The part that's so simple it almost feels like cheating? Shall we move into the next layer? So why is it that almost nobody actually does this? Why, with all the books, classes, and endless YouTube videos on making dreams come true, do so many people stay stuck, frustrated, and let down? The answer is both simple and uncomfortable. Because letting go feels unnatural. The human mind is addicted to control. We've been taught to believe that the more we try, the more we deserve. That struggle equals worth. That the harder we work, the more likely we are to win. So when we meet a system like this magic, where the main key is being lined up, matched, and letting go, it short-circuits our programming. We keep trying to force results, even though forcing is the very frequency that tells the field we don't trust the process. Let's break this down. Most people who fail at making dreams come true are caught in what I call the control trap. They are always watching their results. They picture having lots but check their bank account every hour with worry. They write about love but worry about text messages and dating apps. They declare health but scan their body for problems every morning. In doing this, they send a signal of not trusting to the field. They are saying one thing awake ly but broadcasting the opposite secretly. Why does this matter so much? Because this magical field does not speak English, or Spanish, or Portuguese, or any human language. It speaks the language of energy, and energy never lies. You can say all the right words, but if your nervous system is getting ready for loss, if your mind is locked in circles of doubt, if your body is flooded with stress chemicals, the field listens to that deeper frequency. This is why so many people are tired. They are doing all the things, but they are doing them from a place of high alert, worry, and lack. And so they circle. They create more waiting, more lack, more trying, more searching. Because, energy-wise, they are not in the timeline of already having. They are in the timeline of trying to get. And here's where it gets even more sneaky. The hidden mind runs about 95% of your life. It is the automatic pilot that shapes your habits, beliefs, feeling reactions, and sense of who you are. You may awake ly want a breakthrough, but if your hidden mind is stuck in old stories, I'm not enough, nothing works for me, I have to fight for everything, those stories will make the wave into the same old results. This is why good words without full body feeling feel empty. This is why picturing without nervous system calming falls apart. This is why action without lined up identity leads to burning out. So what can you do? First, you must understand that this magic is not an add-on to your life. It's a re-tuning of your whole system. It's a remembering, a returning. It's about becoming the version of you that lives inside the timeline you want, before you see proof of that timeline in your outside world. For example, if you want to create having lots, you practice feeling like you have lots now. Not later, not when the money comes, but now. You treat yourself with giving, presence, and care. You let go of micromanaging what happens, and you focus on being the signal of trust. If you want love, you practice loving yourself now. You open your heart, you soften your edges, you become the kind of partner you wish to attract. You stop looking for approval and start living as though you are already enough, because you are. If you want health, you stop scanning your body for what's wrong, and you begin caring for what's right. You change from survival mode into strength. You practice thankfulness for the body you have while gently guiding it toward greater life. And here's the opposite truth. When you stop needing it so badly, it comes faster. Not because the universe is testing you or playing games, but because you are no longer the resistance. So, let me ask you this. Where in your life are you still holding the steering wheel with tight fists? Where are you still measuring, tracking, forcing, and chasing? What would happen if you loosened your grip by just 10%? Pause with that for a moment. This is not about being passive. It's about changing from control to co-creation. And that change, subtle, powerful, revolutionary, is where this magic actually begins to work. In the next block, we're going to talk about the simple but rarely practiced ways that can help you realign your system, calm your state, and become the clearest signal possible to this magical field. We'll explore how to dissolve resistance without skipping your real emotions, how to build trust with your hidden mind, and how to step into the timeline you want as though it's already yours. So here's my question for you to think about before we move forward. Where in your life are you gripping so tightly that you've become the very block you're trying to remove? So here we stand, right at the edge of the most powerful truth in this magic, the part almost no one talks about, the part hidden in plain sight. It's this: you don't create what you want, you create what you are. This isn't just a pretty idea. It's a basic rule that shapes how this magical field works with you. The field doesn't respond to your words, your picture boards, or your Pinterest perfect good sayings. It responds to the signal of your being, the vibration signature you carry into every room, every thought, every talk. And that signal is built moment by moment, not in what you're doing, but in how you're being. Let me explain this with a story. Imagine you're a radio. If you want to hear jazz, you don't sit there demanding jazz from the universe while staying tuned to a heavy metal station. You have to change the dial. You have to tune your frequency to match what you want to receive. This magic works the same way. You can't pull in the timeline you want while vibrating in the frequency of the timeline you're trying to leave behind. So how do you change the dial? You start by becoming aware of your current frequency, not just what you think, but how you feel. How does your body move through the day? How do you breathe when you're stressed? What stories run on repeat in the background of your mind? Most of us are not creating on purpose. We're creating on autopilot, recycling the same states, the same reactions, the same energy broadcasts, and the field. It faithfully shows those back to us. The change begins when you interrupt the pattern, not with rough force, not with frantic trying, but with simple full-body practices. It can be as subtle as taking a conscious breath in a moment of worry, as gentle as placing a hand on your heart when you're spinning into self-doubt, as bold as asking yourself, what would the version of me who already has this do right now? And then taking one small action from that place, because here's what no one tells you. This magic doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs you to be lined up. Being lined up happens when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction. It's when you stop saying one thing, feeling another, and doing something else entirely. It's when your whole system hums with a single joined signal. And when you reach that state, even briefly, you create a kind of pulling power in the field. Reality begins to bend toward you. But let's get practical. If you want to be having lots, practice giving, not just with money, but with attention, with time, with energy. Train your nervous system to feel the sensations of, I have enough, even if the numbers in your bank account haven't caught up yet. If you want to be love, practice being open. Open your heart in small brave ways. Be the safe space you're longing to find in someone else. If you want to be health, practice being present. Listen to your body. Feed it, move it, rest it from a place of respect, not punishment. This is the simple path. And yet, few walk it, because it asks you to go first. To become the frequency before the proof arrives. To lead with being, not needing. And this brings us to one of the most misunderstood pieces in the whole dream-making talk. Feeling control. People assume making dreams come true is about feeling good all the time. It's not. It's about feeling real all the time and learning to bring your system back into line when you wobble. This means welcoming your emotions, not skipping them. It means holding space for fear without letting it drive the car. It means practicing feeling skills so you can navigate waves without drowning in them. Here's the truth. You will wobble. You will doubt. You will have days when the old timeline pulls at your heels. That's okay. The power isn't in never falling. It's in how you return. So here's my invitation to you right now. Take a breath. Notice where you are. Ask yourself, what timeline am I tuned to in this moment? Is it the one of fear or the one of trust? Is it the one of lack or the one of having lots? Is it the one of waiting or the one of arrival? No judgment, just noticing. Because the moment you notice, you create a choice point. And choice is the gateway to being lined up. In the next block, we're going to pull this all together. We'll explore how to turn these insights into a living practice, how to navigate setbacks with grace, and how to keep the frequency that makes your dream timeline into reality. But before we continue, I want to thank you for walking this journey so far. If you're feeling lit up, if you're feeling seen, if you're sensing that something inside you is already changing, hit that subscribe button. Join this space, this community, this talk. And in the comments, drop a word that captures your intention right now. Maybe it's allow. Maybe it's expand. Maybe it's flow. Whatever it is, that word becomes your signal to the field. Here we are, the final piece of the puzzle. And I want you to really hear this. Making dreams come true is not a show. It's a practice. It's not something you master once. It's something you live moment by moment, choice by choice. So many people get stuck in the mindset that this magic is about doing more, hacking the system, perfecting the formula. But in truth, the most powerful dream makers aren't the ones who know the most tricks. They're the ones who have learned how to hold a lined-up state, to control themselves back into matching when life inevitably shakes them. Because here's the reality. You will face moments that test you. There will be days when fear creeps back in, when old patterns whisper in your ear, when the timeline you're trying to leave feels like it's pulling you back. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to go into control mode again, to push, to force, to micromanage. But the real mastery is this. Can you stay in the frequency of trust even when the proof hasn't arrived yet? Can you hold the vibration of "it's already done" while the world still looks the same? Can you become so anchored in the new timeline that the old one no longer tempts you? This is where full body practice becomes non-negotiable. So let's make this practical. Every morning, before you check your phone, take a few breaths and ask yourself, what frequency am I tuning into today? Is it worry or having lots? Fear or trust? Control or flow? Throughout the day, use your body as your compass. Your body will tell you when you've slipped out of line. You'll feel the tightness, the squeeze, the pulling in, and in that moment, you don't need to shame yourself or spin. You just need to notice, breathe, and retune. Ask, what would the version of me living in my wanted timeline choose right now? Then take one small action from that place. And at night, before you drift to sleep, replay the day not with judgment but with curiosity. Where did you wobble? Where did you line up? Where did you glimpse your own power? Thankfulness makes being lined up stronger. Acknowledge even the smallest wins. Now here's something most people miss. Community matters. We are social energy beings. We co-control with the people around us. When you surround yourself with others who are practicing being lined up, who are playing in this magical field, who are committed to full body practice, your system tunes to that vibration. This is why it's so important to choose your environment, not just physically but energy-wise. Find the voices, the spaces, the communities that remind you of who you are becoming. Fill your field with reminders of your chosen timeline. Let your outside world become a helper to your inside practice. And remember this, there's no finish line. The point isn't to arrive and then stop. The point is to live inside a continuous unfolding, where you become the living edge of your own evolution. Where you don't just create things, but you become someone who lives as a creator, a co-creator, a aware participant in shaping reality. Because here's the most beautiful part. This magical field is not separate from you. It's not something you control from far away. It's something you're tangled with. You are the field. You are the wave. You are the watcher and the watched. So when you tune your frequency, you're not just asking life to meet you. You're becoming the version of life you've been seeking. I want to leave you with this invitation. In the comments, drop one word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward after this video. Maybe it's alignment. Maybe it's ease. Maybe it's power. Maybe it's something uniquely yours. Let that word be a small but deep declaration. A magical seed you plant not just in this space, but in yourself. And if this video has stirred something inside you, if you felt a remembering, a spark, I warmly invite you to subscribe. This isn't just a channel. It's a living space, a gathering point for those ready to step into their own creative power. When you hit subscribe, you're not just joining a list, and you're joining a movement of minds and hearts reshaping what's possible. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Thank you for your presence, your attention, your energy. You are not just a viewer. You are a participant in this unfolding. Keep tuning, keep lining up, keep playing in the field. Because when you do, the magic responds.